Welcome back to the Corona Indoor Nationals. Since we last saw you, the Princeton virus continues to ravage the planet, but the good news is that in the last month, the numbers are down by about 33% in the United States. The bad news is, over the last week or two, we've seen the highest numbers that we've seen in California. But the other good news is that today, the Amador Valley class of 2020 will graduate. It feels weird to be having outdoor or indoor season right now. We should be almost done with outdoor season, at least at the high school level. And so, what I've decided to do is bring in a couple of outdoor events that are usually not contested indoors and kind of put them together. The 400-meter hurdles and the 3K steeple chase, and we are going to have a 400-meter steeple chase. The last piece of good news is that by continuing this event, I think that we have set the world record for the longest continuous track meet ever. I have enjoyed that this season, even though there was no official outdoor season, athletes have been continuing to have virtual meets and time trials and things like that. So besides the class of 2020 in its entirety, I also wanted to offer a few congratulations. Up here in Northern California, on the anniversary of Roger Bannister's sub 4-minute mile, we ran the Roger Bannister Pandemic 4x-mile. It was a virtual race. Every team had to have 4 athletes run a mile on their own, social distancing, all that, and recorded the time, and we put them together. On the boys' side, I'm proud to say that Amador Valley came out as champions with John Lester, Jacob Lawrence, Ewan Houston, and Jack Gray. On the girls' side, it was Menlo. And Menlo had a team of Charlotte Tompkinson, Kira Pretry, Alexandra McClusker, and Anjani Lieben. There was also a co-ed division that Menlo won with Tompkinson, Pretry, and then Katz and Murray. So congratulations to those athletes. And with that, I want to thank today's sponsors, the people who donated the awards for that meet, Doug Todd from Mount Sac, and also RelayBatons.com. I was hoping to be able to show off those awards and what they look like, but I don't have them yet. But today's the day of graduation, so the show must go on. But thank you to RelayBatons.com and to Doug Todd for donating the awards to that virtual meet, the Roger Bannister Pandemic 4x-mile. And so I know whenever we have an event, everybody's favorite character is Spalding. And Spalding was getting ready to compete in his first steeplechase ever, be it a 400 hurdle steeplechase or just a steeplechase. And we actually had a mishap in training a few weeks ago during the warm-up. And so we will show you that. But unfortunately, Spalding is not recovered from it and will not be competing in the steeplechase today. But Spalding will be back for the last event of the competition as we conclude the Corona Indoor Nationals tomorrow. I'm just getting ready for today's steeplechase. Spalding, where are you? It's time for the steeplechase. Spalding? Went out to warm up. Should be back by now. Spalding? Spalding? Oh my God. One athlete's misfortune does create opportunity for another, as Hope hopes to take advantage of Spalding's absence here in the 400-meter steeplechase. Hope is going to be ready to go. So today's event for the class of 2020 will be historic, as it will be the first indoor 400-meter steeplechase ever contested. Up until very, very recently, the mere suggestion of a 400-meter indoor steeplechase probably would have sounded ridiculous. But in the outdoor steeplechase, that's an event, as some of you probably know, we have 4 barriers, and they're not hurdles, they're much sturdier barriers. Behind the barrier on the last turn going into the straightaway is a water pit. Okay, so in the first lap, athletes do not go into the water pit, they run around it. And then after that, in every other lap, in the other 7 times they go past that barrier, they go over the barrier and through the water pit. Same will be true here. In the first lap, there will be no water pit. On an outdoor track, the water pit, depending on the configuration of the track, might be inside or outside the rail. So on a lot of the tracks that you see, they have to remove a piece of the rail so that the athletes can run inside the turn where the steeple pit is. And on some tracks, they have to move outside the turn, and the steeple pit is on the outside of the track. It's not actually in one of the lanes. I said the steeple pit, the water pit. And this track has an outside water pit, and we'll show you the configuration here in just a second. It's possible that the trickiest parts of this race on this track are going to be the start and the finish. And that's because the starting line is lined up very close to one of the barriers, and so is the finish line. So getting started here is going to be tricky. Athletes will have to line up very close to that barrier and start. Remember, on the first lap, athletes don't go to the water barrier or to the water pit. And so we'll come straight to the second barrier, or come through this first barrier here and then around to the second barrier before they ever go to the water. And then what's going to happen is the athletes will go to the outside water pit, which will be here. And the third barrier will put them into the water pit, and the fourth barrier will get them out. And as we come back around to the finish line, that will be one lap. You can see Hope there off to the side. And so athletes have to come through the finish line. It'll be 14 times, so 13 and a little bit more. And so 13 water jumps, and that would be 400 meters. We are guaranteed to see a world record today, so pretty exciting. We'll just have to see whether it's Hope or me. The Steeple Chase generally has specialized spikes with some holes in the side so that the water can drain out after you go through the water pit. And I don't have any of those. So instead, I'm going to wear some old water shoes. And in honor of the class of 2020, I'm going to wear my old graduation gown.
Wow. Nice. One more.
Another world record. Celebrate in Steeple Chase. Well, the house is flooded, and I cut my hand when I fell, but that really actually went a lot better than I thought it would. I thought maybe I'd break that glass somehow. I didn't do it. I don't know. Well worth it for another world record. You guys can feel free to tell my parents about this one. They've already all but disowned me for this, and compared to what we're going to do next time, this is no big deal. So even if they're mad tonight, they'll have something else to be mad about tomorrow. So second to last day of the Corona Indoor Nationals, another world record, so I gotta say that's a success. And even bigger success, congratulations to the class of 2020. Enjoy the night, or whatever you can. And we'll finish this thing up tomorrow with a big bang.